All right, MMTs. This is a QCOM 3-minute chart MMTs, and off of the video we went through all of the weekly charts. Here is the SMF weekly chart reversal. Another thing is, I don't need to have that up there. You've all set your alarms accordingly. You all understand that in the MMT platform, if I'm closing below, if I don't bounce off of the half weekly bar at 51.14, I close at 51.71. I come down and test it, and if I get met with one of these big green bars at the bottom, like we traded on Friday, all the way up on a 3-minute chart. This is a daily and a weekly. I'm showing a weekly now. But the thing about it is, you already have the alarm set. You also know on the same hand that the blue line is a 20-week, and that's a 10-week and a 20-week. And that the broader public is going to make decisions. Now, on QCOM 3-minute chart, which I have up here before you now, is that if we come down to the weekly half bar and we start to see this happening right here, we'll start taking the trade and we'll start adding to the trade as it works. So at every single delta low in the MMT market maker platform is that when we hit there, we're going to take the lighter entry, but then we're going to increase the volume entry as we know that we get made on the shorter level. But those numbers and those alarms, and understanding how to cross-reference those numbers to your daily chart as well, which is right here. This is the daily now, your MMT daily, and you've already set your market maker lines. MMT market maker prices are calculated. You know what they're going to be, but you also know that if you come off of those support levels down here and bounce back into those weekly numbers, they're going to be resistance, and sellers are going to come in there, and that's where you're going to have to learn that as a new MMT on that 3-minute, that's where they start to slide that red bar. You're going to get net short on the intraday level. So on the 3-minute level, you're going to know how to adjust the trade management very clearly, and making a market is shaking out all the buyers here. Market makers come in, they walk the dog, they walk the shorts, everything you're taught, then they pull it back. So if I get the larger debit this way, and I also get the short debit, profitability debit this way as an MMT market maker, just like they're on the floor, when you're walking out with two good directional intraday movements on a very low volatility price action stock, and that you also know that your assigned MMT intraday buying power is going to be working right at its fullest capacity level, and that as an SMF MMT, you're going to know what the weekly and the daily versus the 3-minute of where these things are going to bounce and sell resistance in price action. And once again, back here to the daily bar, you can see down here that where some of those alarms were set is exactly where the public will make the same response, called behavioral transaction execution response levels, will come right back in at the very same delta lines. And when you take a look at the daily, I bet you got alarms set way down here, because these are the daily price action market lines, but this is where the biggest part of the trend on a daily level for a long time was made, and it was a $12 move down in here up to the reversal highs here. And you can see the amount of days on a daily here that you've had the intraday high get put in, but then they've been being sold short all the way back down here to the penny line, where we started with that gap up and a higher delta expansion breakout program that took place. And basically we're right here at the key critical mass level, and that's the way of looking at the daily. And you have the alarm set so that when we're trading QCOM tomorrow morning and we're pulling out a couple of thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars across the board, is that we know where that level is going to be. And the thing about it is that markets are going to get made, so either the long side is going to be heavily supported for the entry, and or the short side is going to be supported based on what the longer term public technical analysis model, which is a daily model. Now that's a 10-day and a 20-day moving average, and you can see how they crossed over. So any bump up here, the regular public will have sells out, and so will the bigger model people. Institution is who we deal with. Hedge fund managers on an intraday level will have limit orders to sell out no matter what. And I'm just letting you know that with the daily and with the weekly, and then the 3 minute is for you to make a market between the public. And on a daily compounded basis is that it takes 1 day of price action movement over a 5-day period. And all new MMTs will be trading QCOM to get used to the MMT execution platform and everything that we have talked about. One of the very premier things that's going to go into your MMT model next on the next video is going to be putting a $50 call and a $50 put option into the equation so that you can see where the low end of the market is, where they steal the call premium for entry, and then on the top side of the market, at the top side of the market, so when it goes straight up, if it gaps straight up, you're going to learn to monitor the $50 call and the $50 put so that you can see the equilibrium between those two price action models in the options market pit relative to your MMT equity side, and how the equity model, the market maker model, ties directly in with the options trading model. And that's going to be the next one. We've gone over the daily, once again, MMTs. We've gone over this weekly. And we know where the public bigger volume is going to come from and how they're going to make their buy and sell transactions decisions. That's called the public Wall Street tape. That's why you're rich and they're poor. Because you're always making a model. You're always making a market between them people. So we know what the weekly, we know what the daily, and making the transaction model is using the 3 minute between the buyers and the sellers. And we know the complete model because when we were off the video all morning long, we've been talking about directional price momentum strength and directional price momentum weakness, which equates into the long side to the short side, taking the long side $2 move and $1.50 for the downside move is $3.50 intraday. If it was a 1,000 share adjusted trade that was done correctly, the potential profits would be $3,500 intraday on QCOM. But however, what we will do with the new MMTs, don't worry about those making those kinds of monies. Let's just perfect that you're getting your $500 daily market maker allowance consistently is $2,500 at the end of the week and $10,000 at the end of the month. If you make your $10,000 at the end of the month, well, then you get a $1,000 MMT cash bonus. I send it to you, wire it to your bank. Maybe you take your family somewhere for the weekend and spend it. Or go out and use it to buy gasoline with, or high commodity prices, but you've got that extra $1,000 in cash bonus to offset your living cost, MMTs. Because you can, and that's the well-being that an MMT gets here. This is why we're so unique and different than anyone else, is that we don't promote you crap, but we give you what you need to be successful. And we are the kind of folks at SMF that care about your well-being. And caring about your well-being is knowing that you can take care of yourself in both what you did on Friday, getting long and getting short, and consistently, repetitiously, consistently, over and over and over. Once you move out of learning how to trade this as a market maker, then we go into lots of other names, because then the higher betas is the Googles, the CMGs, the Netflixes, the Pricelines, the Google trades, the Amazon trades. Those are going to become easier. The Goldman Sachs trade that we trade, the BTUs, lots of other things that we make markets in. But mastering making a market with consistency and repetitiously as a market maker, and then understanding how the standard deviation technical analysis model, that's all these indicators right here, MMTs, we have them all. But we were never raised on that. We're market makers. But why do you think all of this lacks price? Because it does. Where our model as an MMT is you're in the middle of the public buy and sell transaction all day long. So you always got the directional heads up. So that way you can get that entry and then sell it back to the public. That's what it's about, MMTs.